Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Janet Yong, and in my channel I share about Feng Shui, 八字, entrepreneurship as well as personal growth, especially in the areas of communication, success and motivation. In today's episode, it will be the first episode where I'll be talking about the 2022 forecast for those born with the rat and the ox within their charts. And if you remember, based on the 2022 animal race, the rat is basically one of the animal signs that needs to build foundation, whereas the ox is actually within the range of animals that has got average luck. So without further ado, let's move on to the next segment where I'll share more as to what it means to have the rat and ox within the different pillars within your chart. See you in the next segment. Hi, before we go straight into the segment on the 2022 rat and ox forecast, please go ahead to scan this QR code here or go to 八字calculator.janetyong.com to get your 八字 chart. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, that when we chart out our year, month, day and hour of birth, it represents different aspects in our life. When we look at the year, it's really talking about the bigger industry environment, the bigger company environment, your boss's boss, as well as maybe relationship with your grandparents. Then when it is in your month, it's really then related to your parents at home, your immediate superior at work, or your immediate work environment or department. And the day generally talks about your relationship either with your spouse, your partner, if you're in a business together with a partner, or your boyfriend, or it could be with your peers, your colleagues, or your siblings. And the hour branch generally represents relationship with people younger than you, your subordinates at work, or it could be your younger siblings or your children at home. And the other thing about the hour, it represents actually your action as well as how you usually will take an action from the hour pillar perspective. So let's take a look at the rat. The rat is in the North Palace of the 12 Animal Horoscope 24 Mountain Compass. And one of the reasons why, when you look at basically the rat, it is actually ranked 11th out of the 12 animal signs in the year 2022 is because it does not have any auspicious stars. Now, remember I mentioned in the previous episode that the ranking is based on stars, and it is critical that you understand that this ranking does not determine your outcome of whether is it successful or not successful in the year 2022, because like I mentioned, stars and external influences cannot be controlled. We cannot control what comes in, but we can control our thoughts, our reaction, and therefore our response to the situation. And if you put in the right effort, spend time in the auspicious sectors for the year especially, it will boost and enhance your chance and have a great outcome by the end of the year 2022. But it is also crucial to understand maybe what kind of stars that may impact us so that we can basically be mentally prepared. And that's what this session is about, to give you a further insight of what's going to happen. So you can see that for the rat, it has the Sky Dog star. Now, what does the Sky Dog star represent? The Sky Dog star represents basically the potential of getting into injury and therefore potential of scars in your chart itself if you have the rat within your charts, and especially with the aggressive or what we call the goat blade or sword star, it can actually magnify the chances that you will get into accidents or a chance of maybe some harm to your body, especially metal related injury. So it is critical from a flying star perspective then to avoid the number 7 accident star, which is actually in the west in 2022. Now you do also have the other star which we call the Calamity star. What is Calamity? Calamity star basically represents the tendency to be in areas where natural disaster may occur and therefore you get impacted. So it is crucial then for you to be very careful where you choose to travel to if you decide to travel in the year 2022 itself, and also take care of the 3 sectors that I mentioned previously in the last video on the 3 killings, the Tai Shui, as well as the Misfortune 5 Yellow Star, which I'll cover later on in this 2022 series. Now, if you have missed last week's episode, please remember to click on this link that I'm pointing here so that you can understand a little bit more about the general 2022 forecast for all the animal horoscopes, as well as what is in store in the 2022 八字 chart, which I mentioned that there might be a tendency of natural disasters, which we have already started to see right now. What does it mean by having the red in the various different pillars of your 八字 chart? If it is present within the year itself, basically whatever stars that is present there. For instance, like I mentioned earlier on, the natural disaster star, these may impact maybe your bigger home environment or your grandparents or your bigger company environment, where there may be these particular issues of calamity, or they may be in metal related injury. Then if it is actually within the month, then it could represent either your boss or the way you think about your career. Maybe your career is impacted because of some of the changes that I mentioned earlier on, and also because of that, a shift of your thinking. Now, if it is in the day, then you need to be a little bit careful, because then it represents yourself as well, where you can experience either the bodily harm, or you may be traveling to an area where there is calamity. And in the hour, then it will be a year where it is probably best for you not to take any high risk investment, because like I mentioned earlier, metal related injury can at times also mean the chances of having that mishap in terms of misjudgment in investment itself. Therefore, depending on where the red is within your chart, do take care and do spend time in the auspicious sectors for the year 2022 to enhance and aid you in your thinking and your analysis of the situation. Now, if we look at the red, it is also present in the North Palace, and in the North Palace in 2022, you have the number 1 career success and literary star. Therefore, although there are no auspicious stars, but your Red's Palace does have the career success star itself, as shown in this particular chart. So if you spend time within the north sector of your home, provided it's not the kitchen, the service balcony, or the toilets, then you can also boost your chances of success. Or if you are studying, then boost your chances of doing well in your literary or study, whichever course that you take. Especially, it is critical for us to upskill in these particular changing times. Now let's take a look at, for those born in the year of Ox, where are they situated? They are ranked 6 out of the 12 animal signs. So therefore, they are in the middle, not that great, but not that bad either. So it's ranked as middle or average luck in the year 2022. Let's take a look at why this is the case. Well, if you look at it, the Ox actually has a mixture of the auspicious stars of Red Matchmaker, the Nobleman stars, the Breakthrough star. It also has its fair share of inauspicious stars like the Sickness Charm, the Discord star, the Devious star, as well as the Solitary star. Let me just explain what this means. Now, the Red Matchmaker is another one of what we call the Peach Blossom star. So therefore, if you are single and you take the effort to basically go out, network, there is a high chance this year that you will find that someone. Else, if you are someone who's in the front line or in social media, it is a great year to make use of these Red Matchmaker star or Peach Blossom star to basically increase your following, because you will appear a lot more attractive and people will listen to you, especially from those of the opposite gender. Now, the Nobleman star, basically it's having that helpful people, and for the Ox, it's especially in the areas if you would like to travel, and therefore if you look at social media, if you are basically targeting audiences across the globe, out of your country, that is a great star to have because you have more Nobleman luck. Or if you are looking at health-wise, especially when you have the Sickness Charm that you see here as an inauspicious star, you'll be able to find that great doctor or the great medical practitioner who will be able to help you in terms of getting to a better health state. So that's what it's great about the nobleman star for those born with the ox within their chart itself. And then you have the breakthrough star. Breakthrough star is really about creating a breakthrough, especially from a career perspective or in any of the projects that you've been working on. So you basically see a breakthrough provided you take the necessary effort and spend time, especially in the auspicious sector, which I'll cover later on. Since the ox is resided in the Northeast Palace, which has the wealth star of the year in 2022. Now, besides the sickness charm, you will also have the discord and devious star. Therefore, for those with the ox within your chart, especially in the hour pillar, you need to be a little bit careful because there might be tricksters around, especially when you're looking at investment. So please do look through the details. Or if you're in the work environment, there may be some discord because people are jealous of you. Therefore, being aware of this will allow you not to be caught in a situation where you are embroidered actually in all the entanglements and disagreements with others. And because of all these, whether is it people admiring you, being caught in the middle of an argument, especially with the solitary or lonesome star in your chart, those born with the ox within their chart need time to themselves to reflect, to think and learn from whatever lessons they would be going through in the year 2022. So let's take a look at if the ox is within the year, like I mentioned earlier on. This then will impact those in your bigger company environment or your social circle of friends. So you may see that if you're born in the year of ox, that maybe your friends or your bigger company environment is more active in the social media environment or more involved with the discord and devious stars itself, like I mentioned earlier on. If it is within the month, because it represents your career and the relationship with your immediate boss, then you need to be a little bit careful, especially when there is the discord and disagreement star. And because you do have the solitary star in your chart, if you have the ox within the day branch itself, it is 1 year that you need time for yourself to reflect, to spend time having self-care and self-love. Now, because the day also has your spouse branch or spouse palace, it could also mean not necessarily yourself, but your spouse or your partner needing the time to be by themselves. Or if they're affected by the discord star itself, then they may be a little bit more argumentative as well. So watching out where you have the discussions, spending time in the auspicious sectors of the year 2022 will be critical. Now, if you would like to find out exactly where these sectors are, please visit the link that I have in the video description, where I put it to my 8 Treasures website, where I have an article and pictures where I point to where are the auspicious and inauspicious sectors of 2022. And if it is in the hour, like I mentioned earlier on, it is critical for you to be very careful when you're taking the investment because of the devious and discord star, in case you get into disagreement or legal issues with other people. Now, if you look at the ox, it is actually in the Northeast Palace. And in 2022, the Northeast Palace have the wealth and current relationship of the year. So congratulations, you can boost your chances if you have the ox, especially within your month pillar or your hour pillar. Once you take into consideration the inauspicious stars that are present, be a little bit careful, put in the right effort, do the right research, you will see great results because of the number 8 star in your palace. And you will boost your chances even further if you spend time in the northeast sector of your home, doing your work, making your research before you take the plunge and do that investment itself. And that is what I'd like to share with you for today. And next week I'll share with you the forecast for those born with the tiger and rabbit in their chart. What's in store for the tiger and the rabbit in the year 2022. I'll see you next week. I hope that you have enjoyed this episode that I've shared. And if you do like this episode, please remember to click on the like button, subscribe, so that more people can be made aware of what I'm sharing on YouTube and benefit from it as well. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.